title of this mini podcast is Changing Your Past. The Grasshopper once offered this piece of wisdom: you can't change your past, only update your response to it. Here's the backstory. What if you could touch up parts of your past and see them in a new light? Wouldn't that be helpful? It can be done even if you're a lousy painter. I learned a long time ago that we often respond not to here and now, but to there and then. How often have you had an inappropriate, over-the-top response to something trivial? Chances are it had nothing to do with here and now, but with events of there and then. I heard Dr. Robert Anthony back in 1975 say something that has stuck with me since. You're never upset for the reason you think. Now, never may be too strong a word, but the concept is accurate more often than not. We respond to the conditioning that happened there and then, even though our reaction has nothing to do with the current stimulus that's happening here and now. The key is to begin recognizing that your reaction often has nothing to do with the current stimulus you're reacting to. Reminds me of a story that was all over the media in 2007. News anchor Katie Couric, as the story goes, was slapping her news editor on the arm repeatedly for using a word she detested: sputum. "I sort of slapped him around," Couric said to New York Magazine. "I got mad at him and said, 'You can't do this to me. You have to tell me when you're going to use a word like that.' She went on to say, 'I was aggravated. There's no question about that.'" Well, Katie didn't come out of the womb with a reaction to the word sputum. It was conditioned along the way. It was also highly reported that she cared for her gravely ill husband until his death. One could easily hallucinate that her response to sputum wasn't about the story on tuberculosis she was about to report on, but rather episodes she had with her severely ill husband. Whatever caused her conditioned response may remain a mystery, but it wasn't the here and now story. Her response was about there and then. What are you responding to as though it's happening now, but it's really about there and then? More stuff than you realize. So how do you retouch that old picture so it gets updated? Use a technique I learned from a dearly departed wizard of hypnosis, Dr. Dave Dobson. Find something from your past that you're still reacting to as though it's happening now. Go back to that time in your mind. But go back as the person you are now. You have more insight now than you did then. It's a more mature you going back to visit a scared, confused you. The objective of this mild fantasy is to reassure the younger you that everything will be all right. Let them know you've survived that scary time, and you're going to help them go forward. You're not painting over the picture. You're retouching their response to it by reassuring your younger self that you're there for them every step of the way. Let them know they're not alone. The result of this simple exercise is a more powerful you today. You can do this imagination exercise a number of times, and what you'll find is that each time you do it, the there and then event releases its hold on you, so you don't respond as though it's going on here and now. You aren't changing your past, just updating your response to it. Here's an overarching thought. Retouching your life has a touching effect. All the best, John.